Hey guys, good afternoon. It is about 2:22 on a Sunday in quiet Washington, D.C. Except for the bugs. I am at the National Cathedral here in upper northwest D.C. We can go over and take a look at the Darth Vader gargoyle because I got my big camera lens with me. Then we're going to go down and get some barbecue. Yeah, because I'm hungry. So this cathedral took about 80 years to build, 75, 80 years to build. So there are some modern art in here, including Darth Vader as a grotesque slash gargoyle, but it's pretty hard to see. You need to bring my big lens. There it is. So there's the main entrance to the cathedral. Pretty quiet right now. They had services earlier today. Let's swing around the back. We'll go through the gardens and go back here by Hagrid's house. That's what I call this little building. There's actually a cafe in here. My kids like to come here when they're bored and get a lemonade or something. Up there you can see all the reconstruction that's going on from the earthquake in 2011. The earthquake was a 5.8 and caused like 30 or 40 million dollars of damage to the cathedral. Shook some of the stone off. Was quite a disaster. It's exacerbated by the fact that the cathedral had basically just built a new parking garage, a $300 million parking garage, and was basically tapped out as far as credit goes. And they couldn't raise any funds to repair the cathedral. It exposed a pretty glaring problem with old cathedrals in America. As the number of parishioners have diminished over the years, so too has giving. But the cost of maintaining these places, well, it's getting more and more, even higher and higher. I think the cathedral is trying to raise a trust fund of $200 million to try to keep this place operational for the next generation. Yeah, you can see here some pictures of the damage from the earthquake. Some of the stones, and there's a gargoyle. He got decapitated. Only one gargoyle was decapitated, the bat gargoyle. A massive 50-ton, 40-foot tall grand pinnacles at the top of them were the worst damage. They were twisted and shaken and cracked and popped off. Also luckily none of the massive stones fell to the ground. But they had to bring out one of the biggest cranes in the country to take it apart and bring them down here. So you can see some of the pieces of it. These are the 16 Old Testament prophets that were on the south transept, which had some of the worst damage. They were disassembled and brought down here. And just in case COVID gets the worst of the prophets, they are masked up. Anyway, this is an ongoing project, still not finished. Let's cut down through here and make our way downtown. Maybe we'll go find a bike or something. Certainly going to find a burger. Oh, over there's a statue of George Washington because, Washington, D.C. just does not have enough George Washington statues. So over there, that is the St. Albans School. It's an all-boys school. It's one of two schools here. The other one's the National Cathedral School, which is an all-girls school. And they're kind of associated with the cathedral. Let's go down this way. Pretty building, yeah? This is like a playing field, I guess, for the kids. Let's cut through this way. Lots of stone and trees. I like it in this next area. This is like a common area for the kids to play. They got an outdoor chess set and the courtyard, the Gregory Courtyard. Does have a bit of a Dead Poet Society feel about it, no? So we haven't been up here in a while, guys. That's the Russian embassy across the street. No protesters today. There were some protesters at the White House yesterday. It was more about Ukrainian Independence Day, but of course that has an impact on what's going on. You see Ukrainian flags kind of all over the place out on this side. And over here they've actually planted sunflowers. There are quite a few sunflowers growing over here. Lots of signs. Go back to hell. So yeah, these sunflowers are pretty big. I don't know if those are sunflowers. Pretty much all the houses across the street have a Ukrainian sign or sunflower. And once again, you know where we're at. Sure. Rocklands. Oh, it smells so good. That was a good barbecue, and now I'm on a bike. Thank God I found a bike. Because I was getting tired of walking. So you guys have all heard of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and the book like Matilda, and they were written by a guy named Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl served as a British security intelligence officer in Washington, basically spying on the Americans, and he lived right here at 1610 34th Street. Pretty sure that was it. Yeah, 1610. That was Roald Dahl's house in World War II. He took as a lover Claire Booth Luce, the congresswoman and heir to the Time Luce fortune, Time magazine, Life magazine, if I remember right. And he lived right back there, and he would use her to get information about comings and goings in Washington, D.C. Pretty crazy stuff. Down here on the right is Whittaker Chambers' house, or was it Alger his? I think. And right across the street, this pink house. This pink house was Alexander Graham Bell's house, the guy who invented the telephone. And then the yellow house was his in-laws. He built a house for his in-laws. He won a $50,000 prize called the Volta Prize from the French government for the invention of the telephone, and he used it to build this building, the Volta Bureau, which was a library and sort of a laboratory for research to help the people who are hard of hearing, like his wife. His wife was deaf, if I recall properly. Anyway, he lived there in the pink house. His parents, his in-laws, lived here in the yellow house, and Alger Hiss or Whittaker Chambers lived right over there. I can't remember which one. And then down here, nobody really knows the exact address, but down here was a guy named Ivar Bryce. Ivar worked with Roald Dahl, who lived up the street, at the British Embassy as part of that intelligence group. And he had a really good friend named Ian Fleming. Ian Fleming, as you know, wrote the James Bond novels. And it is said half of James Bond, the character of James Bond, half of it was actually Ivar Bryce. And he lived right here in this block, though the exact street address has been lost to time. C'est la vie. All right, let's go down into the main part of Georgetown. Lots of history in the city. All right, we're on Q, as in Queen Street. And boy, does this street got a lot of potholes. It's quite beat up. So down here on Q Street, this little beige house next to the church right here, this used to be the home of Bill Plant, CBS News White House correspondent. I know that because I used to live in the Red House, and I used to see him when I was washing my car. This house on my left with the black door, 3027 Q Street, that's the home of Bob Woodward of the Washington Post. Famous of Woodward and Bernstein from the Watergate thing. That's where Bob Woodward, he's currently the editor for investigations at the Washington Post. That's his current home. Can we just stay on cue? Yeah, I think we can. Oh, is it over here? Yeah, you see these government Suburbans out here. These are security agents, Secret Service. This is the Homeland Security Director's house. Director of Homeland Security lives there. There are bodyguards out there pretty much all the time. I saw protesters out there once. That's how I knew where it was. Let's go, but you can see that all over DC. You go to these random houses and suddenly there's a couple Suburbans out front with a bunch of guys with microphones and sunglasses, and you're like, okay, there's a cabinet secretary living here. That's the fence I've shown you more than a few times, but let's just take a look if you have not seen it before. This is gun barrel fence. You see, these are not fence posts, but these were U.S. Army musket gun barrels. And see, there's an aiming sight right there on the barrel. This guy bought all these gun barrels, surplus from the U.S. Army, and turned them into a fence. So gun barrel fence is right here on P Street. Okay, let's keep making our way down to the park. Let's cut down this way, and then we'll make our way over to the memorials or something like that. Now, where are we at? Oh, yeah, there's some sirens. The Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State Henry Kissinger used to live on this street, but down about 2 blocks. I'm not going to go by it though. But Kissinger lived like 2 blocks up that road in a relatively small house, to be honest. There's a siren going through the Rock Creek Parkway. Rock Creek Park is just off to that left there. We're cutting down here 27th Street. This guy thinks we're going to run the light, and we are. There's an ambulance right up there. So another house that we've shown you many times is this yellow house right here on the corner. This was Julia Child's house. When she was working for the OSS as a clerk typist, she lived there. It was kind of a group house situation. This is before she learned how to cook. She eventually married a guy named Childs, another CIA agent, and then went on to be a master chef. Julia Child's first home in Washington, D.C. It just sold, I want to say, for $3.2 million. It was like a shell of a house. I mean, literally like 4 walls and nothing else. And then they pumped in several million to make it really posh, and then flipped it for 3.2, I think it was. I don't know. I'll find the listing and put it in the comments. Then we got it. We got the light. Okay, this is the Four Seasons Hotel where foreign heads of state stay, one of the most expensive hotels in DC. And this is a homeless guy who has all of his possessions under a 50-foot American flag. He's got some other flags now too. Seems to be collecting them. Lots and lots of shopping carts filled with whatever. And he pushes it around. I've tried to help this guy. He's a little off sometimes, but he's out there on the streets. That's how it is. Ooh, look at all the traffic out here. Everybody being out of their house today because it's so nice. It's in the high 80s, I would say, but not too humid. Let's get down to the river. Maybe it'll be a little cooler with the water off the river. We'll get away from the bumps because they just repaved the bike lanes down here. The background there, that's the Watergate Hotel, Conference Center, condominiums, and office buildings. Yes, that is the Watergate from Richard Nixon fame and Forrest Gump. They did have a scene in Forrest Gump. $4.17 a gallon up here. Told you it's still pretty expensive. Let's spin over this way. Now over on my right is a little lighting system, yeah? You see that light there? That's the poop light, yeah? When that light goes on, it's a sign that there's been a sewage overflow and raw sewage is being pumped into the Potomac. So when you see that light flashing, don't drink the water. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. There's a better view of the Watergate. Quite a few boaters out today on the Potomac, looking back towards Georgetown University. Nice day to get a tan, one of the last, is it Indian summer, I guess you'd call it? Yeah, I guess you could call it Indian summer. So up there, that is the Teddy Roosevelt Bridge, by far the ugliest bridge in the District of Columbia and the most dilapidated. There's currently restrictions, no trucks allowed on that, even to the point that DC fire trucks, only special units can go out there. They can't send everybody out there. If there's an accident, they have to keep them separated for fear of the bridge collapsing. Yeah, Pretty sad. Pretty sad indeed. Hopefully they'll replace it. I think they need to replace the whole thing. It's not fit for more modern traffic needs. They did, however, just put a little tunnel through the bridge, which is kind of nice. We don't have to ride up in the road anymore. We can skirt through this tunnel. There's a plane landing at Reagan National. Alrighty, there is your Lincoln Memorial there in the distance. We have made it down to the Lincoln. I think we're going to ride around the mall, go check out the White House. Typical kind of day. There's not much going on. It's Sunday, yeah? Maybe we'll find some random protesters somewhere. Maybe we'll just see a bunch of tourists being weird. Maybe we'll see tourists protesting the price of hot dogs. That funky building over there is the National Institute of Peace. And basically it provides jobs for all the people who go to school and study peace studies. Don't really know what they do. I guess they have some conferences and stuff. You know, I can't tell you how many times I have tried to record something only for the camera to be turned off. So incredibly annoying. Not sure why that happens. Anyway, we're coming up on the back side of the World War II Memorial and making our way over to the big stick, the Washington Monument. There's the Washington Monument. Pretty clear day again. We've had some pretty good weather this month, to be honest. I mean, we had some really hot days to begin with, but it's kind of mellowed. It's been clear. The rains have kind of subsided. Last week or two has been pretty nice. Let's cut over this way. Let's spin up to the monument and then spin over to the White House and then go around downtown, keep looking for food and or hot dogs. Is that California's food? Oh, scooters. Oh yeah. So that is the National Christmas tree. There is the automatic weapons toting guard to stop pedestrians. And there's the South Lawn. Pretty quiet. No dog, no people. Not today. Let's go around the other side. We can get a little closer. There's usually more activity. Okay.
If you want to go, you can go.
No, you're...
Yeah, let's go this way. Cool day. Not even the dancing guy is out today. They're all like, it's just too darn hot out in the sun. Oh, I spoke too soon. I hear music. But it's someone else. Oh, it's Truth Conductor. He's out here. He's out here all the time. I have to turn the music off. And it's pretty quiet in the park. This I don't understand. They've got a bunch of cars. They always have cars parked out here. And they've got the hood up. I would assume to keep the engine cooler, let the air in or something like that. But that would indicate that the car's engine is actually on. That's kind of odd. They sit there and run the engine all day for the air conditioning or something. Maybe those cars are always manned or something. Don't know. But it is a little odd thing to see for an empty car if that's the case. Down here they don't. Yeah, they do. One of the cars over here has got his hood up too. Strange. Interesting. Oh, eating a popsicle. Pebble Beach is quiet. Most of the press pool that has to cover the president has gone out to Delaware. So not much activity going on. Let's get out of here. So the memorial has moved away from the tree. The tree is still damaged, of course. I don't know if the tree is going to survive. It got hit several times. You can see the scars down the side. Geez, there's even a scar over in here. According to the Weather Service, there were 6 bolts. 6 bolts hit this thing at the same time. Yeah, you can see the marks. Crazy. So there was like a couple shootings here 2 nights ago. It's not exactly the friendliest corner in Washington, D.C. Yeah. Looks like what we got. Metro Police. The black and white cruisers are Metro Transit Police. They're the subway cops. And then the white ones are MPD. So something in the subway spilling into the streets, I guess. This is Chinatown, if you couldn't guess by the giant arch, as a gift from the government of Taiwan, Taipei. Not the mainland, but for the Taiwanese Chinese. This Chinatown was it's probably still pretty anti-communist. Though most of the Chinese have moved out to the suburbs. But, all right, let's see what's going on up here. It must be down in the system. Nobody on the streets. So this is that revolving sushi place I take you to sometimes. Kura revolving sushi bar. It's very crowded. You have to get on the wait list before you come here. Whoa, that was close.
33, so I got.
More cops over here. I don't think he's on a call. I think he just went to the convenience store to get a soda. He just illegally parked. Oh, we must have an event going on here at the center. There's a bunch of teenage girls. Is it like a concert? Look at this. Oh, is it BTS or something in town? Look at the crowd. I'm not sure who it is. Green light lady. And having a concert because it's all females, all about age 13 to 18. Lots of them in like costume, kind of cosplay-ish almost. What a line. Is it some other group? 17 World Tour. Maybe that's a different group. I don't know. Definitely pretty crowded. And down here we have another big group of people. I don't know what they're doing. Oh, they're doing a dance-off, a K-pop random dance, where they all dance to a song. So guys, that was a K-pop random dance. Yeah, I'm actually kind of familiar with those from my time in Asia. But what happens is all the kids get together, they play the melody of their favorite K-pop songs and the dance routines. And if you know it, you dance it. And if you don't, you sit on the side and cheer on those who do. So these take place pretty much all over Asia, all the time. So if you go onto YouTube, type K-pop random dance, like K-pop random dance Hong Kong, for example, and these kids just go out and have a lot of fun dancing. Now they're doing it here in DC because the rock group's 17, I thought it was BTS, but 17 is playing tonight at the Capital One Arena. 17 is a band of 13 Korean guys. Go figure. Oh wow, they reopened this road. This road's been closed for a long time. But we are down here at Ford's Theater, where Abraham Lincoln was shot. And then across the street, Dr. Peterson's house, where Abraham Lincoln actually died. And Ford's Theater is just a little bit north of the FBI headquarters, where we were a little bit last week when they had that little incident I showed you. And today, it's pretty quiet at FBI headquarters. Yesterday, an FBI police officer off duty was involved in a shooting. I don't really know all the details. Out on one of the major interstates, shut down the whole road. Oh, we got FBI police. They've blocked off the entrance right now. So FBI does have its own police force for just perimeter security and whatnot. They're not technically special agents. They're FBI police. He's got the entrance blocked. I think he's just talking to the guy. Across the street from the FBI, that is the IRS, Internal Revenue Service, and over there is the Department of Justice. Of the three, I would say the FBI building is probably, actually, the FBI building is one of the most active buildings I've seen in DC throughout the pandemic. So I'm gonna slide over to this dock, dump this bike, and I think we're gonna jump on the subway. Oof.
You see what I'm saying?
So my subway card is on my phone. I just have to scan my phone onto the reader, and that'll get my train. What do we got? Trains every 15. Okay, not my train. That's a downtown train. All right, that worked. Now let's make our way to the train. Okay guys, that's a Sunday in Washington, D.C. Not that exciting, I know. But tomorrow we'll have a helicopter and who knows what else will happen. We'll be filming it. You guys can watch it. Thanks a lot for subscribing. We'll catch you all next time.